Okay. So once again, ladies, thank you so much for joining me inside our Sister Sense Power Circle. Today is officially my first Power Up call. I'm going to tell you guys all about what Power Up is in just a bit. But as I mentioned before, my goal here is to get you in the circle and talk to you about a very important topic. We all want to be happy, and essentially I want to talk about what it means to be a happy entrepreneur as far as building your business and your blog online. And as always, when you come inside the circle, I have you think about what it is that you're working on, whether it be an actual business or you're brainstorming project ideas or you're trying to get that blog off the ground so that you can promote the business. I think on one of my last calls, one of the ladies after the call said, man, you had me wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning just kind of thinking about the things that you said. So that's essentially what I want to do, not to have y'all wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but really reflect on your vision and make sure that you're moving towards that so you can essentially be a happy entrepreneur. So I, again, hope you have your pen and paper ready so that you can take some notes. And we can really work on powering up your business and your vision. So, of course, most of y'all know me, Sister Sense, creator of Sister Sense. I help you make sense making money online in a nutshell, right? If there were 3 things I could say that I do, I, one, design websites for entrepreneurs. I work predominantly with women entrepreneurs of color. I provide both clarity sessions and mentorship opportunities to work with women who want to kind of pick my brain and mirror what it is that I've done as far as building a business online, as well as creating opportunities like this, whether it be inside a virtual call or a live event for women who are either starting up or full of overflowing with success and information to share and connect together so they can make meaningful networks that are going to help them and help our communities at large. So the first thing I like to do at the start of every year is essentially define my vision and my goals. And one of the things that I've been working on this year is helping other women entrepreneurs go pro. As you know, I talked about that last week, and I had done in the last couple of weeks my pro webinar series and going pro. Really, it's about, becoming a professional, being able to create professional events, and also to be able to see progress and profit in your business, all of those PRO words. And I believe one of the ladies on the call, we spoke one-on-one last week, and she said, that was my vision this year. I told folks that I was going to be a pro, so when you said you were going to do pro webinars, I was like, look, that's all me, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do this year. So when I get inside of one-on-one sessions with my clients, I often ask them what their vision is, and when they tell me, I'm like that person who's like, okay, that's wonderful, let's dig deeper. They go, oh, Lord, LaShanda, what do you want me to do? I'm like, well, when you think about that vision, what exactly are you really trying to accomplish? Who are you really trying to reach? And so I am the person who always says, I practice what I preach. All of this is the mythology that I use in my business. When I'm thinking about this concept and vision of I want to help other women go pro, what's the purpose, right? What's really underlining that? And really the purpose is so that more women can be happy in what it is that they're doing online. And so there's really, I should say this, a big difference between being an entrepreneur and being a happy entrepreneur. There are a lot of people with great ideas, and they either start up or they're just always brainstorming and just kind of define themselves as an entrepreneur, even though they haven't quite established something yet. But either way, with that definition, for you to see the fruition, the fruits of your labor, for you to really feel fulfilled in that and to be happy, you've got to figure out what it is that you need to do to accomplish that goal, which is what I want to talk about today. So the first thing that I want you to do is, if you got your pen and your paper out, I want you to complete this sentence for me. Because for everybody, this sentence is completely different, right? To me, being a happy entrepreneur means ... Okay? So, again, I want you to take this 60 seconds or so and really clearly define for yourself what being a happy entrepreneur means. to you. And then we're going to touch base on that and talk about that in a little bit more detail. So I'm going to give you like 5 seconds of silence because I can't be quiet too long. But then I'm going to give you a definition of happy entrepreneur that I feel encompasses a lot of desires for myself and other women, other moms, other entrepreneurs, male and female, who are trying to get to a place of satisfaction in their business and in their life. But, again, before I do so, I always like for you to kind of brain dump out your ideas before I put mine on top of that, right? So, again, complete the sentence. To me, being a happy entrepreneur means ... Now, for those bold sisters on the call, and you got to jump on it because I want to make sure we stay on time. Those bold sisters on the call who are writing this right now, hit *6 and unmute. Just say, this is so-and-so, and being a happy entrepreneur to me means ... So I can hear some of the visions that you all have.
This is Rita.
Hi, LaShanda. Hi, LaShanda. It's me, Paula, from New York.
Hi, Paula. Let's know what your vision is.
Hi. My vision of being a happy entrepreneur is finding the passion in my work and not looking at it being a chore.
That's a good one. I love it.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, who's next?
This is Rita Freeman from Silver Spring. I'm new to the call.
Hello and welcome.
Thank you. Being a happy entrepreneur to me is enriching women's lives as I climb the ladder of success and also turning out a decent profit as well.
I love that because you need the combination of the two. I always say you want to have a passion that's profitable. So being able to enrich women's lives as you climb your ladder of success. Wonderful.
Right.
Wonderful. Let me get one more before we move on to the next thing. Don't hesitate, y'all. Just jump right in.
Hello. My name is Sandra Davis. Can you hear me?
I can. Hello.
Hi. I'm a newly minted real estate broker, and my passion, or what to me being a happy entrepreneur means being a blessing and a resource to my community. So I guess we all have that same, especially being women, we all want to give back to our community. So I just really want to help my community and the people who live around me in my area.
I know that as mothers and nurturers, we often want to give back, and we don't just want to do stuff for profit, right? We're not like the dudes. We want to be purposeful in that and really help out the community. So that's one as well. Now, ladies, I wish I could go through everybody because you have amazing things. But like I said, I want to keep going. So we're going to continue moving through this process of really reflecting on what it is that you want to accomplish in your business. Now, when I thought about this concept of, to me, being happy, again, for myself and the women that I work with, it's really about feeling that you love what you do. You just wake up in the morning and you just ultimately love what you do. Not just that you feel accomplished of what you're doing. It's adding value to you and being valued by others. Because, of course, you want to be able to monetize it and profit from it and do what essentially businesses and entrepreneurs and small business owners do. You want to be able to see progress, growth in your business and your customer base, move away from paycheck to paycheck or this is good enough, for right now, into a space of abundance, of wealth, of actively being able to participate in the lives of the people you are striving to provide for and live in your purpose. I really had to sit down and think about that concept and try to make it as overarching and holistic as possible because it's hard to be happy when you're working on a business because, as entrepreneurs, the whole concept is that this is your thing, right? And folks think, well, you're good because you're doing your thing, so you must be happy. But it's hard to be happy doing your thing when you don't feel accomplished or valued. It's hard to be happy when you're working on it and you don't see the growth or the progress or the customer base that you feel is ideal for what it is you're trying to accomplish. And then I know for a fact that it's hard to see when you're striving to provide for your loved ones, but you can't spend sufficient time with them because you're busy doing everything else. So that when you get it right and you automate and you do a lot of things that I do online and make it virtual so that you can work either on your business as opposed to working in it, as well as you can work on being mommy and being wifey and being all those other wonderful things other than simply trying to get this thing off the ground all the time. That's when it becomes a space that allows it to be happy for you versus stressful or draining and all the other things that we don't want it to be, right? And you need a power-up, which is what this is about. You know, I feel like we've got our internal batteries, and in order to make things happen as an entrepreneur, that self-motivation battery has to be up on 130%, you know, if not 130,000%, because when you're not self-motivated, things don't happen in your business. So it's an opportunity for us today to really think about and talk about what you need to do so that you can be happy, self-motivated, and productive in your business. So how is it possible? How is it possible to go from all the things that make you drained and feel like you're working in the business all the time but never have enough time to work on it? How is it possible to be a happy entrepreneur? What I learned, and I try to be very, very, very scientific about this stuff because, you know, the more you can really have a crystal clear understanding of the process of building your business and being successful at it, the easier it is to articulate that success to others, which is what I strive to do. I believe, you know, as we learn and grow, we teach and help others grow in the process. And so for me, the proof that there is possibility in being successful when it comes to being an entrepreneur and being happy at it is that when you are persistent about staying the course and executing a plan B for every failed plan A, you make progress. And every time you make progress, all of those happy thoughts become reality, right? You know, like in Tinkerbell or, you know, what is it, Peter Pan, when they say, think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts. The more that you stop starting over, the more that you find a way to go from stuck to unstuck and persevere and be persistent and create plan Bs for every failed plan A, you see progress. As you see progress, again, those happy thoughts become happy reality because it's a process. There's no magic pill. There's no super button. It's a process. So my goal is to give you a power-up today so that you can push, persevere, and I want to give you some practical solutions, things that you can do while we talk right now and then when you get off the phone so that you can work towards that happy place, right, for your business and your blog. Now, what I want you to do is kind of take your page and divide it into three different columns. Well, I'm sorry, divide it into two columns because one column is kind of a combination of two things. Now, the first column is for your business goals and your brainstorming ideas. For some of you, you're actually in the business, so you want to really focus on your goals and your vision, the things that you want to accomplish in your business to make you happy, versus other people who are not quite in this stage where they've got a fully established business yet. So you want to focus on not so much your current business goals, but maybe the brainstorming projects and ideas that you're trying to get off the ground. So you want to kind of sit there and jot those down and write those out, right? Write up those things that you said, okay, these are the things I'm trying to get done in this business, or these are the kinds of projects I'm trying to get off the ground. And the other column is for your blog agenda, okay? So you've got your site, you've got a blog. What are some things that you're trying to get done on this blog, whether it be starting it up or moving it forward? Specific topics you're trying to write about, articles, content, features, pages, offers, memberships. I know I'm working with one client, and she's like, okay, I want my site to be like yours. I want a membership component. What are the things that you want to do on your blogging space, your virtual space? And that can be extended to your website. Because honestly, Sister Sense, it's built on the WordPress platform. I do consider it to be my blog in which I use it to blog for my business. But it's a complete, robust website, right? So thinking about your virtual space, what are the things that you're trying to accomplish in that arena as well? Now, as you're looking at these two columns and you're jotting it down, really what you should be focused on are those things that are going to help you actualize your happy thoughts, right? So, for example, just to kind of give you some ideas of for me, things that I wanted, these were my happy thoughts. One, and these are simple things, and you want to think about what simple things, but they're just powerful for you that would transform your life. One for me was this vision of me driving my son to school. And this was a happy thought because when I moved to North Carolina, typical New Yorker, I did not have a car. I did not have the funds to get a car because I started on a drawstring budget. And, the funds that I had was to pay the bills, pay the rent and eat, get diapers, things like that, because my son was very, very small when we transitioned and moved from New York to North Carolina. And so I was in a space where I said to myself, if I could get to a point where, he's a baby now, but before he's 5 years old, I need to have my car. I need to be where I need to be so that I can drive him to school and drive him on trips and do all the things that, mommy's supposed to be able to do. That was my happy thought. And so in order to get that car, I had to save that money, but I had to make that money to save, right? So it became, what am I going to do online? How am I going to strategically build my business to make that happen, right? And so as you're thinking, again, about your business goals versus your blogging goals, I also want you to have that overarching vision of your happy thoughts. You can even kind of like create a cloud, little clouds, like these are these little happy thoughts that you envision for yourself, because the specifics of it are the things that you're going to execute on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis to get you to a point where these things are accomplished. So for me, another happy thought as you're writing here, because I want to give you a couple of minutes to write before I move on to the next thing. For me, another happy thought was sipping some sweet tea, swinging on my swing on my porch. And that was a vision for me because I was a big believer in if I'm going to move somewhere, I'm going to be by family. I wasn't by my mom's family, so I had to be by my hubby's family. And his mom, beautiful house, I think it's like close to 2 acres. I don't know, it's huge. And she's got a beautiful swing. And, when we would go there, and I'd leave my little 2-bedroom apartment to go to her house, I'd swing on her swing and say, one day I'm going to be sipping sweet tea, swinging on my swing. And that was my happy thought, which is now a reality. But before that had to happen, I had to go through, and we've been down here for, I want to say 5-6 years, and I had to go through the last 5-6 years of evolving and growing and going through some serious growing pains in order to get to the point where I wasn't looking at somebody else's house and going, wow, this is amazing. When can I get to that space? To being able to sit on the porch of my own house and say, okay, this is where I am today. And so, again, I want you to think about those happy thoughts, those things that you want to accomplish. And, yes, things are going to be challenging, and life is going to throw some crazy hurdles at you. But you want to, when you think about these overarching thoughts, look at your goals and your vision for your business and also your blog, because I'm a social media girl. I believe in blogging for business, so that's a big part of the equation too, right? What you're going to do for your blog, what you're going to do in your business. Now, when you look at your goals, okay? You've got goals that you've put together for your business, and you've got ideas and projects that you put for your blog, okay? I want you to check off, circle, asterisk, whatever you need to do, highlight whatever you need to do to make it clear to you that this has been worked on. What have you done and what have you worked on in the last week? This is important, okay? So you're going to look at this list that you've created, and you've got blogging goals on one side and business goals on the other. What have you completed in the last week? Sometimes I talk about annual goals and 3-month goals and, what did you do in the last 30 days? I want to talk about right now what you did last week. And if you did do things that are not quite on your column, they're not on that page yet, think about what you accomplished. Add them to those lists. You got to acknowledge what you've done. And I'm going to tell you there's power in the small things because they become bigger things. So you want to make note of those things that you completed last week that are connected to a larger vision you have, either for your blog or your business. Okay? So again, we're going to really look at this list now and ask yourself the question, what did you complete last week? Because what you did last week affects the growth of your business this week. And the key to being a happier person tomorrow is all about today, right? Before I could, live those happy thoughts and make them real, I had to work on them over the course of weeks, months, and years. So every week, what I'm going to show you today, we're going to create a system for yourself. We're going to start with a system that's going to help you become a little bit more productive. And I'm not going to say that then you're going to take this and run with it, because for some people it's harder than others. But I'm going to show you the system that works for me, because I see where women get stuck in their business and they can't move forward. So I want to show you the things that you can do that can help you move forward now versus later. Okay? Now, the first thing I want you to do before we get into the strategy, because we're just laying, this is self-reflection time, right? We're getting you to get all this stuff out of your head. Before we get into the strategy, I want to talk about the fact that every week you should be working on your business. And I don't mean working in your business because, for the most part, I'm a web designer and I mentor other entrepreneurs. I don't mean when I'm working on websites or I'm on calls with clients. I mean when I'm strategically working on my business, not working in it. Every week you should be working in your business. When I talk to women and they tell me their big vision and they tell me their happy thoughts, and then they say, LaShanda, well, I got to wait. My heart sinks. I got to wait to work on the site or the blog or the vision because so much is going on. So what I'm going to do is next month or next week, I'm going to figure out how to, get this time, because I need to get this time so I can focus on this stuff. And I'm here to say there is no magical gap of work on me time that any of us is going to get. There's no magic gap that, nobody is going to give us 3 months, let alone 3 weeks or even 3 days to work on what we want to work on. It's just not going to happen, right? And because we're moms and we're women and even single women who are not moms, we just automatic nurturers of family and friends to give and give and give and give and give. No one and nothing is going to give you time to work on your business, which means you have to take it. You have to take the time to do this stuff, and I'm going to talk about how you do that today. Because, again, in order for that actual happy thought to be real, you got to work on this. You got to do it consistently on a weekly basis, see the progress. And if you can't do that, if you can't take the time and you just sit and wait for the time, you're not going to see the happy that you're looking for, right? So I asked you what you did last week. What I want you to do now is think about this coming week. It's coming. It's already started for some because Sunday is the beginning. I want you to write down, when you look at these two columns right now, I want you to write down, we probably have to change the page, what you are going to work on this week with respect to your business and or your blog. I want you to write down some things that you're going to work on. And as you're working through this part of the equation, I've got some news for you. A lot of you have big goals, and the reason why you're not consistently finding enough time to work on your business is because you keep trying to work on these big goals versus breaking them down into smaller, actionable activities that you can realistically do either in a few hours or over the course of a few days. So, I see some ladies here who participated last week in my pro webinars 5-day training. And, just so you know, if you missed that, I did a 5-day training all about how you can go about hosting your own webinars, whether it be for profit or promotion. At prowebinars.com, that information is there. So throughout the process of doing that 5-day training, and again, you can listen to the replays and watch the webinars if you want to do that. I kept saying you want to KISS. You want to use that KISS method. Keep it seriously simple. What's stopping you from putting together a webinar and start making some money next week if you know what you know, and you can get ladies to sign up or men to sign up, folks to get on board with what you got? What's stopping you? If it's too big, it's unrealistic, or too expensive, that's stopping you, right? And you're going to put it on the back burner. So I kept saying KISS, keep it seriously simple. Today I modify that concept slightly by saying when it comes to setting weekly actionable activities that you can do to move forward in your business and on your blog, you want to KISS, keep it seriously small. Break down larger visions for things that you can actually do. So let's talk about that as you work through your list. Let's say, for example, you say, okay, well, LaShanda, I need to bring in 50 new clients this month. Okay? I need 50 new clients. I need to make a certain amount of money. This is where I need to be. Okay, let's do this. Let's say today you follow up with 10 people to see if you can close 3 sales. So rather than being consumed by this concept of getting 50 people in this month, focus on reaching out to a realistic number of people and then closing from that number a realistic number of sales. Okay? You're going to take that big goal and break it down. That's what I want y'all to be doing right now, thinking about what you can realistically work on this week. Take those big goals and break it down to things that you can actually do. Another example, that same concept of 50. I need to get 3,000 people on my list, or I need to get 50 people on my list. I have all of these visions of having this list of over 100,000 people. And, you put yourself in this space of not doing anything towards the list or not sending out emails because it's small, right? It's not quite 50. 50,000 is like, maybe 25, So you do absolutely nothing. Take an hour, 1 hour this week. Add 50 people to the list, comprised of either new contacts or people who sent you questions about your product or service, or people who, again, maybe you followed up with in the past, but it's been a while. Add these people to your list. I do that all the time. Sometimes I get random emails from people who ask me questions about either my ebooks or ask me questions about my web packages. Then I'll sit down just for an hour, go through my emails, compile a list of, okay, these people wanted information about web services. I'm going to add them to a unique list, and then I'm going to follow up. Hey, I know maybe 2-3 months ago you had a question about building a website. Do you still want one? And you can take that opportunity to not focus on this big, 50K list and do something that you can realistically accomplish in an hour. Even if you have monetary goals and you say, well, I need to break $10,000 a month. I need to be that six-figure sister. And everybody, they sell you, right? Everybody's real slick about selling you on the six-figure or $1 million dream, and you got to get that. And then you just sitting there every day like, yeah, Lord, I'm praying on it. I'm going to get to that six figures. I'm going to get to that $1 million level. I'm going to just keep praying on it without doing the things that you need to do to increase that revenue on an annual basis. Every year I make more in my business. Every single year. That's what's going to get you to the point where you break your six-figure and your $1 million level when you're consistently seeing growth, right? Not just waiting to jump the line and get to that six-figure mark. You can't. To me, I mean, there are some people who do it, but I don't live in that impractical world. I'm a practical woman with bills and mortgages to pay. I try to keep it real, which means that when you've got these goals for yourself and you've got monetary goals, like I want to make $10,000 a month, sometimes I get emails from people who say, well, I lost my job or I left my job, so I need to replace that income in 30 days. You may not be able to replace that income in 30 days. So let's talk about some things that you realistically do this week to generate income from yourself, right? So you want to think about what you can do to make some new sales or how you can tweak offers to go back and talk to existing clients so that you can move forward towards those larger monetary goals, break it down into actionable steps. So about a week ago, in about an hour, I was able to generate about $2,000, and by the end of the week, I moved that $2,000 to $4,000 because I took an hour. And it's funny because it was like, this is really, it's real. It took about an hour for me to strategically email and call certain people about one offer. I looked at one offer that I had, and I modified it slightly, sent a couple of emails, made a couple of calls, and was able to convert that into sales. Now, granted, I could have just as easily neglected that process of working on the business and just worked in it. Okay, well, I can't work on the business right now because I need to finish this. I need to follow up with this person. I mean, I was like coughing and sneezing and bedridden, and folks are still sending me emails, and I just took a nap because I needed to take a nap. So sometimes you need to do that, and then there are times where I say, you know what, I get you. I know that you want me to do that 12 hours ago, and right now I need to do this for my business. Because if I'm constantly focusing on what I got to do for everybody else, again, nobody's going to give me time to work on my business. I have to give it to myself. So I wanted you to think about who you can follow up with, how you can possibly look at some of your offerings or pricing plans or, conversations that you've had with people, who you can follow up with and what you can do for a couple of hours this week to make some things happen for yourself. Not everything is going to be, it has to be this larger-than-life, perfect idea that's going to bring me in a bunch of people or a bunch of sales, right? You got to focus on what you can do to complete and move forward in your business. Tweak your offers and follow up. It's something that's really been helpful to me to see progress. And I'm going to tell you, when I see thousands in my bank account, that makes me a happy entrepreneur. When I go, oh, my goodness, Jesus, God is good. Close those sales today. That makes me a happy entrepreneur. You've got to get better at that. Working on your business, finding ways you can strategically change and improve what you've got. It's funny, I see one of the ladies on the call who I've worked with, and we just talked. She knows I'm going to talk about her because she's probably like, oh, Lord, here it comes. We just talked this week, and she said, LaShanda, you set this stuff up for me, and it still works. It's been years that you set it up for me, but it's automated. They sign up, they pay for it, they get the information, and it still works. Oh, my God, I love it. And that's what you want. But in order for you to have those things, you've got to figure out what's not working and how you can make things better in your business. Can't be, I'm always so busy, I can never find the time to get this right. You got to make the time. You got to take the time. And I don't even want to say make it. You got to take it. Take that damn time, right, to make it work so that you can feel that extra boost. So what I want you to do is, like I mentioned before, number one, look at those happy thoughts, those big goals that you've got for either your business and your blog. Break them down and think about what you accomplished last week versus what you're realistically going to get done this week. That's number one. Number two, you've got to create plan B options for yourself. I talked to you in the beginning, and I said, I know that there's proof you can be a happy entrepreneur when you persevere, you stay the course, and you find a plan B for every failed plan A. You can't always start over or restart it, or change gears altogether. In order for me to be able to say that I've made it 6 years living in North Carolina and I'm still doing what I do and I make more than I did when I moved down here, I had to go through 6 years of working on this business. And I've been online for over 10 years. But I had to then transition from being a side hustle sister with a 9-to-5 job to a sister who was working strictly at home and moving up in the ranks, right? So you have to find plan B options. Now, I want you to look at your list, right? Because some of those things, not everything, there's some things you can break down and you can go, okay, I get what LaShonda's saying. These are some things I could do next week. Now, there are other things on that list that you look at it and you go, damn, well, when I could do that, girl. I mean, it's what I want to do, but can I do it? I don't know. For those things, I want you to really think about possible plan Bs. So, for example, on Pro Webinars, I talked about different hosting plans that I either, webinar hosting plans like GoToWebinar. Everybody knows GoToWebinar, right? That I've used, and I said, okay, if you're starting out, here's one you could use, and you could start off for like $15 to $20. And in that concept, I was talking to one particular client, and she was like, man, she said GoToWebinar is the devil. So I started to laugh. She's like, there's no way I could afford that. GoToWebinar is the devil. But, girl, you told me whatever you use, I'm using because it's cost-effective and it works. So you have to see in that example, maybe it's that you want to put together some sort of virtual training, but the things that are available to you are out of your price bracket. You got to find a plan B. You got to find a way to get it to work for you right now, right? So you're going to look at your list and look at things that you say, okay, well, there's no way I can get that done. Find a way. That's going to help you get those happy thoughts from thoughts to reality. Now, me personally, I think quick on my feet. It's just who I am. It's internally what I do. I mean, so one of the reasons I do my one-on-one calls, my clarity sessions, my jump starts and trainings and whatnot is because I have to literally help some people think quick on their feet because they can't, especially when they're in the brain is just turning and stuff is not coming out. So I said, okay, well, let me just come up with some examples of how you can find a plan B, and maybe this would spark some ideas with some of the ladies who are on the call. So, for example, there was one woman in particular in my Jumpstart, my weekly calls, and we were talking about different ways to monetize your message. And I talked about, and I won't go into detail too much because, we got so much other stuff to talk about, but I talked about, well, you had virtual events. Consider, either selling the replays or maybe putting it in some form of a digital CD. So, I went through multiple ways. You can take one conference or replay and monetize it in other ways. And she goes, LaShanda, I did an event, I didn't get the ideal turnout, and I was really discouraged and was like, forget about it. And she's like, I'm so glad I was on the call because now I see other things that I can do with this webinar other than just leaving it there, right? And that's, for me, there's always a plan B. Even if things don't quite work out perfectly, how else can I monetize it, optimize it, utilize it, so it's not just something I created and now it's just sitting here a waste. You know, my time, my effort, my energy, they didn't value it enough to sign up, and then so I'm just going to leave it there and devalue it myself, right? There's absolutely no reason to do that. You've got to be able to find another way. So I had another client who she's a new client because she's been in my Sister Set circle for some time now, and I want to say about the last 3 years has strategically been excited every time I said anything about building a website. She's like, oh, my God, LaShanda, I want to do the website. I want to do it tomorrow. Okay, so what's the deal? How much does it cost? Oh, wait, I can't do it. Okay, but I'm going to get at you because you are going to do my website. She's been in my circle and on me for years. And I'm like, okay, I know we're going to work together because my famous saying is I'm not going anywhere, which is a big thing as a web entrepreneur because folks go away every day. I said, I'm not going anywhere, so when you're ready, I got you. One of the things that I did was modify one of my offerings. And you probably have watched some videos on my Build It on a Budget series, essentially different things that you can do to build your website on a budget. I'm thinking about, the months and years this particular person has been wanting to get this off the ground. It's been challenging because, let's be real, when you are working on your business and working on you and working on the family, sometimes the investment that you want to make in you got to sacrifice it and fix the car or, pay tuition for the kids or give it to hubby because he needs you in one way, shape, or form. And then you go, well, damn, there goes that money. And so, again, me being Plan B girl, I said, well, look, I've got my Build It on a Budget series, and what I've done is put together essentially an opportunity where you have a 12-week plan. Instead of you spending, essentially I want to say about $700 for us to do everything that you need to do right now, you're going to be on this 12-week plan, and you're going to pay about $55 a week, and then every week we're going to work on something, whether it be your logo or your social media package or your website until we get it done. And she was like, where do I sign? I'm ready. She was the first person who became a part of my Build It on a Budget series. And, of course, that's something that I'm offering to clients as I talk to them. If you're listening and you go, LaShanda, I'd be interested in that, you can email me, lhenry@sistersense.com. But now, I think it was last week I sent her an email. I said, here are the things that we've been able to create as far as your material. We're 6 weeks in, and this is the phase of getting your content together for your website so that she can finish it and build it on a budget versus another year going by saying, I wish I could work with you, but I have to wait for everything else to fall into place, right? We don't always get the opportunity to see things fall into place so we can move forward. So, again, you have to work on creating Plan B opportunities for yourself so that you can see things moving versus waiting for them to happen. That's important, especially for ladies who come to me and say, I'm working on, I'm trying to do what I want to do and what's your business? Well, I want to get speaking gigs. I talk about that. I'll pick at y'all sometimes because I get that all the time. I want to get speaking gigs. Folks is waiting for speaking gigs, and I'm teaching pro webinars. Where are y'all at? Because basically you could put together a webinar, $97 a person, bring in 10 people next week and bring in $1,000, but you're waiting for a speaking gig that you'll do for free. You can bring in anywhere between $1K to $5K next week if you got the right amount of people and you know how to share and tell people and get paid for what you know. You can do that next week, but everybody's waiting for a speaking gig as opposed to creating their own platform, promoting and teaching to people who actually want to value them and make it work. Yeah, I don't focus on the thousands and the millions and the six figures and all of that. I focus on the real. If you can get real people who value you now, work with it. Keep it seriously small. If you can get 10, 20, 30, 50 people who value you now. Why you caught up with this one because she's speaking in front of 1,000 people, or she was just on XYZ talk show in front of 1 million people? That's wonderful. But guess what? I know folks who've been on talk shows and as broke as they want to be because they don't know how to monetize none of that stuff. And they don't know how to consistently work at home like I do because I work with real people who value the real services that I provide. So you want to take those bigger goals and break them down into things that are realistic for you, that you can accomplish. You want to look at those bigger visions of you on stages and sitting in front of Oprah and think about how can you create an organic community where you are affecting change and working with individuals until you build a legacy where you're working with thousands and hundreds and beyond. You have to start somewhere. And it has to be realistic. So I told you I want you to write down your happy thoughts. We did that. Check. I want you to write down some big goals. We did that. What did you complete last week? What can you work on this week? What are some plan Bs? If you need to have a clarity session with me so we can sit down for 60 minutes and talk about everything that has you stuck and how you can create plan Bs and break down that bigger vision, let's do that, right? Let's do that. But you are certainly the person who is, essentially got the key to your clarity, so you may be able to unlock that within yourself, hopefully with the material that I'm sharing with you today. Now, outside of breaking things down and writing down your plan B, one of the things that I feel are really essential to moving forward is feeling like you can move forward. Because I know that it feels sometimes hard to move forward when you're tired. I was talking to a client last week, and it was kind of one of those conversations where, they're growing and I'm growing and everybody's growing at the same time because I felt what she was saying. I knew exactly what she was saying. She said to me, I'm such an ambitious person, and there were so many things that I wanted to do last year, and we talked about moving forward and creating this dynamic side and all the wonderful things I wanted to do, and then something happened. I got stuck, and from that point till the end of the year, nothing happened, and now I'm afraid. What did I do? How did I go from being this ambitious person to afraid? How did I go from this person who had all these things I wanted to be complete to now stuck 6 months later? Because it is, when you look at, you want to do something in October, November, and now it's March going in April. That was 6 months ago. All of these things I wanted to do and say I'm jumping on it next week. Now it's 6 months later. I'm tired. I'm tired and I'm upset, and I hate to feel tired and upset because I'm either talking to or looking at things that other people are doing, and they're making these accomplishments, and I want to make these accomplishments. So I'm tired and upset because I don't want to look at them anymore. They're driving me crazy. She's like, of course, LaShanda, I know you think I'm crazy, girl. You don't understand what I'm saying. And I get that all the time. Clients will be like, oh, my God, you must think I'm really crazy right now. And I said, I know exactly how you feel. You're not crazy. I know exactly how you feel. And it's kind of like being constipated. So, of course, she starts to laugh on the call. And I said, no, really, listen. It's like being constipated because you've got all this stuff you want to get out, and you can't. It's like, yes, you get it. You get exactly how I feel. And I said, yes, I absolutely do. So here's what we need to do so that you can feel motivated, because that's essentially the term that she said. She said, I need to feel motivated right now. And, when you're not feeling motivated and you don't feel like things are happening for you, essentially digging deeper, you're not happy. So I said, okay, what are we going to do to help you feel happier? One, we need to figure out the fear. That's one. Some of you may be afraid of something and you're not acknowledging what that fear is, and it's holding you back in one way, shape, or form. I think about this particular client who motivated, some of what I'm saying to you right now, but this is not her story. This is a common story I've got so many clients who come to me, and I was even email conversation with another client last week as well, who was like, okay, I know we talked about on this time I'm going to put up these payment buttons and the prices, but I just can't do it because I feel like the minute I put up the prices, they're going to run. I can't do it. And I'm like, I know that feeling. I grapple with clients with that all the time. Why are you afraid to put up your prices? Why are you afraid to put up your buy now buttons? Why are you afraid they're going to run? Or what are you afraid now about moving forward and all the things that you wanted to accomplish? Why don't you feel secure in your skills and your ability? What's making you feel deflated? Is there something that happened in the last 6 months, or maybe a series of little things that happened that have been chipping away at you? I joke about my hubby. I joke about it. I said, you need to go somewhere, like not local Dr. Phil. Why are you always sitting here? Dr. Phil and me. And he laughed. But it's true. And I realized that, while I can claim to be one of the most motivated people, self-motivated people when it comes to my business, I know what it feels like to be deflated and unmotivated. And my Dr. Phil can sometimes give me that extra pill that I need to power up and move forward, which is important. So, I'm here to make you laugh a little bit, or, here to share some recommendations and tips. But, I also want you to think about what it is that's holding you back, that you can power up and do what you need to do to move forward. So in some cases, it could be that you are afraid of something. So as I mentioned with my client, I said the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out what you are afraid of and move from there. Number 2, we need to put Plan B into action, because obviously the vision you had 6 months ago, we can't work from there. We need to work on what you can realistically get done now. So we took that bigger website vision, broke it down into something that was more realistic, that she could feel like she can complete and feel good about. So that's number 2, the Plan B. And then number 3, block out the bad feelings. Real simple, KISS. Keep it seriously simple. Block out the bad feelings. I always like to relate and resonate with my audience, and so I said, girl, you're not crazy. I know exactly how you feel. I went through a period where I was tired of Facebook. Facebook had me in a funk because, yes, I felt good about what it was that I was doing, but at the same time, you'll get on Facebook and folks look great and they're doing all these amazing things, and you want to compare and critique and then look at you and go, oh, why am I not doing that? And so I strategically blocked it for, I want to say, about 3 months. I didn't go on it. I didn't talk on it. I didn't comment. I didn't look at it. It didn't exist to me, because if it's making me feel bad to go on there and see what other people are doing, then feel bad, because I'm like, I should be like, girl, you amazing. And I'm like, why I'm not doing it? If I have all these unhappy thoughts, I'm not going to be on this space right now. I'm going to block it. So I said, that's just a really practical solution. If there is either a space that you shouldn't be in, whether it be virtual or physical, or if you're talking to people and they're talking about certain things that trigger you, change the conversation. Don't have the conversation. Don't be in those places. Block those feelings until you can get to the point where those feelings are a non-issue again. Sometimes we get to spaces in our life where certain things make us hypersensitive. In order for you to be happy, you have to eliminate the bad so you can feel the good. Block out the bad feelings. Focus on completing kits. Keep it seriously small, active solutions that you can do on a weekly basis so that you can feel good again about moving forward. So we did our call. We scheduled our next call. We talked about what we're going to do to work on taking the bigger virtual vision and making it something more practical, and that can be done in the next month. And as you do that, you will feel better. You will feel more accomplished, and you will see things happen, because as you, again, see progress, the happy thoughts become happy realities. Oh, my God, I finally got that done. I feel so good. And that's what you want to accomplish. So, again, these are all things that you can realistically do for yourself, and I want you to take that into account. What can you block out right now? What should you be blocking out right now? What feelings, issues, people, places are giving you the bad vibes and the bad feelings? What big plans can you either break down or create plan Bs for so that you can realistically work on it? And, of course, what fears are somewhere underlying in there that you have not acknowledged? Now, I talk about these things on the process of being a happy entrepreneur and building your business and your blog because I learned that even though I'm a heavy teacher and trainer, and for the most part I talk about strategies and, this is what you need to do to put on your Twitter and, this is what you need to put on your Facebook and this is how you need to grow this business and these are the type of things you need to be writing. I think last week we talked about 3 videos that you should do on your YouTube channel so you can bring in subscribers. This is how you create a webinar. I'm a trainer. I teach specific strategies. I realize with a lot of women that I work with, it's not just about training. It's about getting that power up, getting that power push, because you need to figure out, this is all well and good, but realistically, what can I accomplish this week? I'm busy, LaShanda. I'm busy, girl. What can I do this week to make it happen? So I said, okay, we're going to sit down, we're going to break it down and talk about what you can realistically accomplish this week and every week past this point so that you can see progress. Now, what I expect from you all is that next week you should be able to say, these are things I got done. I checked these off of my list. Or I actually was able to close a client, or I actually was able to build a list, or I was actually able to go to a couple of places and solidify this is where I'm going to be doing my actual live training and coaching. So these are things that I was able to get done. Versus, these are things that I still want to do, but, girl, I don't got the time to get it done right now, right? You don't want to be in that space. You want to actually get it done. So next week, I expect to see people inside of my power-up call. Now, some of you are already a part of my Jumpstart Your Business Circle, which is my weekly call, and those people have an automatic in. You're already in Power Up. Now, if you're not a part of not the Jumpstart weekly calls, the Insider Circle, the clients that I do one-on-one sessions with every month, they have an automatic in to the Power Up session. And so for those of you who have that and you're inside my Insider Circle, you will automatically be a part of 2 calls that I'm doing every single week. Outside of the Jumpstart Your Business calls, I'm doing a power-up call so we can get on a session and talk about this is your agenda for this week, this is what you accomplished, this is what you need to do to move forward. I call it my 18. It's going to be an opportunity for you to have a space of really accountability to yourself, but then when you say it out loud and you say it to me, you got to be like, girl, I got to come correct next week because it's what I told LaShanda I was going to do so that we can work on it together to move forward. And then outside of the power-up calls, we're doing a pro bloggers call so we can talk about just your blog, right? This is what I need to work on my blog this week, and this is how I'm going to move it forward so that every week you're consistently doing stuff for yourself. Because, again, I realize it's not simply about waiting for others to give us the time or getting time off of work. And sometimes you get time off of work and then you look, where the hell did that go? I was supposed to do this and I didn't get time because I was doing all this other stuff, right? We have to take the time to power up and work on our businesses. That's what it's all about. And so when you go to, and you can check it out at join.sistersense.com, you'll see you have the opportunity to sign up for the Power Up series so that you can get on basically these calls every week and stay on point. There's an opportunity for you to be inside of my circle and stay on point. So next week, we're going to talk again about what it is that you accomplished over the course of the next couple of days, and what you need to do next in your business and your blog. But again, the first part is thinking about those bigger goals, then breaking them down into things that are going to be a little bit more realistic and action-based for you. So what I want to do now is I want to give some ladies, and I believe this is what I was told. I'm going to try this out, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to go back to the old. I believe what I can do is have you hit *6 and then press 1 so that I can see those who have virtually raised their hands. I see my girl Blue on the call. Girl, I'm going to try it your way and see if it works. But if not, you can just try and hit *6 and unmute yourself. Basically, what I want you to do is tell me a goal that you have, and we're going to break it down into some action things that you can accomplish in the next couple of days, if not weeks. Hello, I have just unmuted you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, LaShanda. This is Paula again from New York. I have a question. In regards to blogging, is there a difference in blogging just for content as opposed to increasing sales? Because I am an Avon sales rep, but I intend to add more to just being an Avon sales rep. I also like fashion and some other things, and I would like to blog. But my main goal for my blog, I have to be honest, is to increase sales and to get sales. Is there a difference in terms of blogging for that as opposed to just blogging about, maybe not necessarily for sales?
Okay, that's an awesome question. I hope you join us on the next 18 call. Now, here's the thing about it. I believe that when you blog, it's a blog for purpose. Every post you put up there has a reason. So for you, you say, okay, well, one of my purposes and my objectives here is I want to get in some more sales. So you want to look in your Avon book, and you want to pick out a couple of things and say, I want to sell that. I don't want to sell Avon. I don't want to sell people on signing up. I want to sell that product. I want to sell that. And this is what I'm going to promote in my blog this week, whether it be jewelry, bath products. I actually went to an ultimate spa party and bought some products from, I believe it's Arbonne, I don't want to say it wrong, about a week ago. Because I actually just, these are things that I need right now. It's the winter season. My face is drying out. It's dehydrating. I want a nice cleanser. So I just went and had a good time at the party and did what I needed to do and, got this wonderful stuff. So whether it be my focus this week is I want to blog about, I'm going to do an event. It may be an Avon party so I can get people out and see some wonderful products. Or I'm going to blog about some specific products that people need to use right now in this season. You're focusing on sales that are targeted for products versus the overarching, I need more people to come into my business. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, that's one kind of post that you can create. But when you talk about fashion, then you're going to, again, break that concept of fashion into something even more specific. Okay, it's fashion, but it's, right now we're going into spring. Here are some wonderful spring colors. Now, maybe in the latest issue, there are some dresses or scarves or things or bags that have the colors that, be going in the spring. So here are some things that you need to add to your wardrobe right now, and you're tying it into the fact that it's seasonal, and you click here and you go to my Avon if you want to sign up for me and you want to work out, get some of these items. So, again, you're going to look at your bigger vision, break it down, and find specific products that you can have wonderful comments and talk about on your blog, but with purpose. So in the case of hydration or it's the winter time, you're not just writing an article and saying, buy my stuff. You're making it informative, and you're telling people, well, these are some wonderful things you need to do right now if you need to, hydrate your face or your feet or your hands or whatever. Or these are some dresses that you may want to get if, you want to make things up sprucey or, switch things up because you've been inside all winter and you want to look cute for the spring. So, again, you want to think about writing content and creating material for your blog, but it's got a clear purpose and you're marketing specific products.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Blue, I see you. I'm unmuting you right now.
Hi,
Hello.
greetings, LaShanda. Can you hear me?
Hey. Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. I was just pressing *6 and pressing 1 just to let you know it worked. And just really loving the call. Thank you so much for doing this. You've just been very, very instrumental in helping me, and this call is exactly what I needed. Exactly.
Oh.
So I thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. You're one of my power ladies, and I appreciate not only the time that we spent together, but the quick tip about the Q&A for our session today. So that's definitely priceless for me. This is very helpful. Now, I see here, hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, this is Weta Freeman from Silver Spring.
Yes, how are you?
Well, and yourself? Sounds like you're doing great.
Fine, too.
My call is kind of twofold. It kind of piggybacks off of Paula's call in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually a Mary Kay consultant. So I think you answered my question about the blogging. It sounds like we want to really create a brand and presence for ourselves, as whether it's an Avon representative or a Mary Kay consultant, and become the expert in whatever specific areas that we're looking to blog about. Mm-hmm. My big thing is that I do events, and I'm looking for people who want to have complimentary facials and also brides as well. So I think on my blog I'll focus on those efforts there. And then the other question is that I'm a HR professional of 20 years, and I kind of started an HR website. It's an interactive resume website, and I want to at some point talk to you. I want to figure out how to hone in on the blogging aspect of it and how to really launch it and get it off the ground as well.
Okay. Now, did you have any specific questions about that, or did you just kind of want to say, okay, we're going to connect? Because that's wonderful, too.
No, I think I kind of understand the blogging thing. I just want to kind of figure out, how to really create that blogging presence. I don't really totally get how it works, per se.
Okay. I think for us to really kind of think about and sit down and talk about specifically what it is that you're working on, so I can, say, okay, well, here are some things that you should start writing on. That would maybe work better for you, because sometimes for some clients, we do general calls like this, but then they need okay, this is the title, these are the key points, this is what you need to focus on. That may work better for you. And then also, a part of being in that weekly space where we come together is so that we can talk about other things you can do. So you mentioned wanting to put together parties and, find other ways to bring in sales, constantly having other plan B options and ideas is essentially what I try to do on the call. Okay, we'll try this week, and see if we can work on this for the next couple of weeks and what that's going to happen, what's going to happen from that space. So that's what to keep in mind. Now, with the HR, I always say you want to look at what it is that you're trying to provide as a service professional, and then you want to start with those services you feel you can realistically provide in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, you've been doing this for quite some time. I actually have one of my clients who just launched her website, hrknowledgesource.com. And it's interesting because you guys have a similar synergy in that she's been working in HR for many years and has now launched her own HR company. It's an opportunity, I think, for you if you want to go the route of building that space and even whether it be blogging or focus on building that business, start off with what you feel like you can realistically do either as an individual or with a small team.
Mm-hmm. And the resumes and the webinars, that was very interesting when you talked about webinar training, especially with a lot of people who are out of work, and what does it look like to look for a job in the 21st century? It's really changed, and I'd like to try and do webinars on that just for a nominal fee.
And you can absolutely do that, which is why, as I mentioned before, I did the pro webinar series so that you can from start to finish see, okay, I can sign up, I can create my presentations, I can put it up there, create a sales page, and get, maybe you already have content. Especially if you've been working in an industry for 10, 15, 20 years, there may be people who would love for you to train them in a facility where either you're meeting them locally or you're doing a virtual session. Now, keep in mind, and this is something that, opens eyes when I say this for people, yes, you can do group training and get paid for that, but you can also do one-on-one training just like we do one-on-one calls, so that if you have people who would potentially pay you to do a training just with them virtually over a webinar, again, you think about, who's in my circle and how I can expand on, getting paid for what I know and adding value to them at the same time. That's something for you to think about as well. Because, of course, again, as I mentioned before, for those who do have professions that you've been working in for years, you probably already have a roster of people that would potentially be interested in what you have to offer. But all of that is, as I mentioned before, that's at prowebinars.sysdefense.com.
Okay. Well, I sent you an inquiry, so I guess we'll be connecting soon.
Sounds good. I will take a look at that and follow up with you soon.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, if there is anyone else who would like to hit star 6 and then hit 1 to ask me a question, you are more than welcome to do so. See here, just updating the call here. Okay, I see some more.
Hi, my name is Rochelle Gray.
Hi, Rochelle. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for the invite, first of all. I'm a teacher trying to learn to be an entrepreneur. And one of the things I struggle with is there's so many things to get ready to do. I'm opening a center for kids. And one of my questions is, which is more important? Is it the blogging expert point first, or should I be concerned about a website first, or is there something else I should be concerned about as far as social media?
Now, social media is basically what you're going to use to have conversations with people about your business. Mm-hmm. So when you're tweeting, Facebooking, and blogging, you're either trying to talk to new people or you're trying to continue talking to your existing audience. So you've got to have an actual website first to start.
Okay.
Because then what you do is then you're going to want to get the people from Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest and all these other people to go on your space and say, oh, she's got a program for young people. I want to sign up, get more information, or get my kids involved.
Okay. Well, I am definitely interested in your $55 a week to get me to the next stage. Because, again, as a teacher, by the time we get off of work, a lot of times the day is done, we're tired, and there's just so much information out there. I'm really just trying to be very strategic as to what I'm doing to get this done.
I definitely hear you on that because, when I go to my son's class, I said, God bless his teachers working with these little children. God bless them. That is not for me. You can definitely email me, lhenry@sysdefense.com. Just let me know you're interested in learning more about my Build It on a Budget program.
Okay.
And I can help you with that. But like I said, when you have something like your own business that you're trying to start up, before you build a social media presence, what's really going to attract people is what it is that you have to offer. So you want to create a space that clearly defines who you are and what you do, and then bring them there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So hopefully, ladies, I will see some of you on our call next week. And, again, if you're interested in participating, you can go to join.sysdefense.com. I've got my weekly Jumpstart Your Business calls and the new Power Up series that we're going to be doing every week as well. So starting March 30th, we're going to have our weekly Power Up call, so we can talk about what it is you need to do in your business, as well as a weekly Pro Bloggers call. So allotting that time within the week, not to focus on the overall business, but just the blog. I do see a few more questions, and I'm going to take those. If you want to ask me a question, you can hit star 6 and then 1.
Oh. Hi, LaShanda.
Hello.
It's Marcy. How are you?
Good.
Good. LaShanda, I've pulled up your website, and I'm looking at the Power Up Circle. Is that I wanted to know what type of commitment is that? Is that for a year, and is it all paid up front?
Oh, so everything there is on a monthly basis. And so what you'll see is that when you sign up, you get access to our weekly calls, which will in this case be 3 weekly calls.
Right.
The Power Up call, the Pro Bloggers call, as well as the Jumpstart Your Business call. And then you get access to those calls on a weekly basis. So you participate and you subscribe for, right now you can sign up and join Power Up, and it's $27, and that's just $27 a month for as long as you feel like you need that additional support and information in the Sister Sense Circle.
Okay, and so would that be like an automatic, because I know it's through pay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything is automatic, so it's easy for everyone to manage. And then, of course, there's the Insider Circle, which includes these weekly group sessions plus one-on-one sessions with me. So you may feel like you want to talk, once every 2 weeks about specific things that you're working on outside of the group sessions. That's what the Insider Circle is for.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hello? I just muted you. I believe your last 4 digits are 2200. And I accidentally hit that Q&A button and took it off. But if your last 4 digits are 2200, you can either hit *6 and 1 again, or you can talk because I unmuted you. Hello? Hello? You're unmuted, so you can talk. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. And I think you did try and hit *6 again, but I unfortunately can't hear you. So what you can do is, if you can email me, lhenry@sistersense.com, we can talk. We can talk next week as well.
Can you hear me now?
Hello? Yes.
Oh, okay. My name is Gwen Allen. I'm here in Los Angeles. We host a Nappywood Weekend. We call it Nappywood Weekend. It's August 4th through the 5th. We do have some things on Facebook, but we just want to sort of increase our visibility, and just wanted to, get some ideas or some feedback on what we should do to, get people to get on Facebook, and or should we add a blog spot to our existing social media outreach?
Well, adding a blog space is definitely a good way to start. And it's an opportunity for you to talk about 3 things. When I talk about blogs, and people say, okay, well, what should I write about?
Right.
What are you working on right now? That's a good one, because, whether it be you've got an upcoming event or a new client, anything like that, you want to let people know what you're working on right now, what you feel is working right now in your particular industry, any recommendations that you can share, especially when you're working with clients who need how to help, if that is something that you're doing. Even if you're working with, let's say, for example, you're working with parents and they need to know how to work with their kids, or, help them with their education or after-school programs, any informational resources that you can share, or insight on the process of working with you sometimes people take for granted, well, I sent them to my website. Why didn't they sign up? But they may not know your process or how to navigate your space, where your buy now buttons are. So, okay, let me tell you about something that we now are offering, and here's the specific link that you can go to. So little things like that, whether it be what you're working on right now, what's working on industry-wise, or the process of working with you, what you've got on your space. These are some things that you can talk about on your blog. And now what I find is the easiest thing to do is when you do blog, then you can share those blog posts on something like Facebook. So you've got one space that's your central space, and then you're putting that information out consistently as you go to other social media platforms, as opposed to trying to figure out, well, what should I blog about versus what should I put on Facebook? And it's all different. Having that synergy of writing blogs, making them content-rich, and then having people go back and read the material there.
Now, so far as navigating, you mentioned you can put it on your Facebook, but do you also collect people's emails and send it out almost like a newsletter?
Absolutely. You want to make sure that you are building your email list. There are different things that you can do to build your email list. I think last week or the week, we did YouTube videos before that. Maybe about 2 weeks ago, I did a jumpstart call just on email subject headers, right? So there are so many different things you can do to build your list. But at the very least, you should have at least a few touch points on your site that are going to motivate people to want to sign up, whether it be a subscription link or a sign-up box. So at least if they are there and they're interested, they're not lost. They're like, oh, I would sign up, and she don't have nothing. So you make sure you've got at least on a consistent basis that you're writing material about what it is that you do on a daily or weekly basis, and then you've got those sign-up opt-in offers clearly visible on your space so that if people are interested, they can sign up. But last but not least, you also have to be strategic about telling people. Not strategic, but you have to be adamant about consistently telling people, by the way, subscribe to either sign up for updates or subscribe for specific things. Like, for example, maybe this week you have a particular event that you want to share with people. So sign up so you can get information about the event, or sign up so that I can send you information specific about how I can help you in XYZ way. You can't just always say sign up to subscribe for the newsletter, because that's too general. You want to be more specific and give people other incentives throughout.
Like get a free prize or a free gift or something signing up.
Right. And it doesn't have to be, like you're trying to figure out something new all the time.
Right.
But you've got to be strategic about putting something fresh up there and then letting people know it's there versus, okay, I'll put it up, I'll just wait for them to come to the space.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate this opportunity to sort of listen in. Like I said, I got late on the call, but, the information and the questions were very helpful.
You're welcome. I'm glad that you could make it. Ladies, I will be posting this replay on Sister Sense, so that, of course, if you had the opportunity to come on but missed a few things, you can listen to the replay tomorrow on sistersense.com/blog. And, of course, one of the things that I talked about today is once you walk away from our circle, you should be able to figure out how to look at your bigger goals and your happy thoughts, how to break them down into things that you can do over the course of the week, right? Because as you build and you see that progress, positive things happen. So next week we get together and we talk about more the specifics of what you need to do in a group inside the Power Circle during one of our Power Up sessions. So, of course, ladies, I hope you have a beautiful and blessed week. Again, just to kind of give you guys some links for those who had questions. If you are interested in learning more about my Build It on a Budget plan, so I can help you build your website on a budget, you can send me an email about that, lhenry@sistersense.com. Again, lhenry@sistersense.com. And if you would like to sign up to be a part of our Power Up weekly sessions, you can do so at join.sistersense.com. Have a great week, ladies. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.